Have you ever reacted to bad news and immediately thought, why did I say that? Let's listen to Sophie and Ryan figure out why some reactions land and others just sit there.
I never know what to say when someone tells me something bad.
Yeah, because advice feels wrong, but silence feels worse.
And whatever you say feels permanent, like you can't undo it.
Exactly. Someone says, my project got rejected, and suddenly your brain goes, say something supportive, but gives you nothing usable. The phrase I fall back on most is, that sounds rough.
Same, it's my emergency exit.
Because it doesn't commit you to anything.
Right. If someone says, I've been dealing with delays all week, that sounds rough, just sits with them.
You're not analyzing or fixing anything, yet sometimes that's enough.
That sounds rough, lets you acknowledge difficulty without taking responsibility for fixing it.
I use that can't be easy when I've had half a second to think.
Yeah, it sounds like you paused before speaking.
Like you reflected on what they're dealing with.
If someone says, I'm managing 3 deadlines and training a new hire, that can't be easy, feels thoughtful.
That can't be easy, sounds more considered, like you paused and reflected before responding.
I used to avoid, I'm sorry to hear that because it felt dramatic.
I know, it felt too serious, like I was making it a bigger deal.
But then someone told me their contract wasn't renewed, and that sounds rough, felt wrong.
Yeah, too casual.
So I said, I'm sorry to hear that. And it actually fit.
Because sometimes the situation needs weight.
I'm sorry to hear that adds weight when the situation matters, even if the relationship isn't emotional.
These two used to confuse me.
Because you're not actually imagining the full thing.
Exactly. You're not saying I understand everything.
You're saying, I get why this is hard.
Like when someone says, I'm juggling deadlines and family stuff.
I can see why that stressful lands really well there.
But if I want to address the emotion behind the stress, I can imagine fits perfectly.
Exactly. You're not claiming experience. You're saying the emotion related to the situation makes sense to you.
I can see why that's stressful, names the pressure in the situation. I can imagine responds to the emotion behind it, without claiming you've lived it.
Some phrases work when the emotional load is clear.
Yeah, like repeated setbacks or long processes.
If someone says, we followed up 3 times and still no answer, that must be frustrating just fits because obviously it must be frustrating.
And that's a lot to deal with works when things stack.
Exactly. Multiple issues without a clear end. So you're reacting to the weight, not the situation itself.
These phrases validate emotional strain without turning it into drama or advice.
I didn't like that's not ideal at first.
Because it sounds almost flat?
Yeah. But then I started hearing it at work and it made sense.
If someone says, the deadline moved up by 2 weeks, that's not ideal, sounds calm, but supportive.
Right. It leaves space for what comes next, without pushing emotion onto it.
Which is sometimes exactly what the moment needs.
That's not ideal offers empathy in a neutral, professional tone.
I don't envy you. Took me a while to understand when I first heard it.
Me too. I kept thinking, why envy? But then I realized that that's the point.
I get it. Envy is about wanting someone else's situation, and here you're saying you definitely don't want it.
Exactly. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes works the same way.
So, if someone says, I'm managing 3 teams this quarter, you could say, I don't envy you, or I wouldn't want to be in your shoes.
These phrases show recognition by saying, I wouldn't trade places with you.
I think the mistake I made was assuming empathy had one sound, and that every problem needed a solution.
I agree. Sometimes it's not about solving the problem but acknowledging the situation or the emotion involved.
Good reactions don't fix bad news, but they decide what happens next. The next time someone shares something difficult, notice your instinct. Then try a response that actually fits the moment.